find fascinating about the mindset of the servant is that throughout history, we've always looked down on servants. They were less educated, less successful, they had less money, they were second-class citizens. Yet today, what is the one thing that we keep hearing about that leaders need to have? Servant leadership. Now, that's a part of what having the mindset of the servant means, but what a lot of these other, the 140 CEOs told me is that that's only a part of the picture. The servant mindset means that not only do you have humility and vulnerability, not only do you not take yourself too seriously and view yourself better than everybody else, but you also service your leaders if you have them, your customers, your team, and yourself. A lot of people forget that leaders need to serve themselves. Whenever you're flying in an airplane, they always say, put your own oxygen mask on first before you help others. Serving yourself means that as a leader, you take care of yourself emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever you need to do. And it's understanding that you cannot shine your light onto other people unless you take care of yourself. This is why organizations around the world are investing in a lot of these health and well-being programs. You have to take care of yourself, because if you don't, you won't be able to take care of your team. Now, I think for this audience, probably the most applicable servant mindset story would be around serving your team. And my favorite example of this comes from David Novak. And he is the former CEO of Yum Brands. And when he was the CEO of Yum Brands, he was responsible for the lives of 1.5 million people, including the franchisees. It's a massive workforce, one of the largest on planet Earth. But before David was at Yum Brands, he was an executive at Pepsi-Cola. And he was in a new role in operations. And he wanted to learn as much as he could while he was in this new role. So he got together a team of 12 merchandisers, and he held a meeting with all of them in St. Louis. And they all gathered around a table. He sat them all down, and he said, okay, who in this room, from all of you 12 merchandisers, who's the best merchandiser? Who do you guys all turn to for help and guidance? And one by one, everybody in the room would say, oh, you got to talk to Bob. Bob is the best merchandiser that's here. Customers love Bob. I've learned more from Bob in 3 days than I have learned from 3 years being at this company. So David's like, all right, I got to talk to Bob. And David looks down the table, and he sees Bob sitting there weeping. And I still get goosebumps when I tell this story. When David told me this story over the phone, I was like, oh man, I was just sat there in like silence. And so he sees Bob weeping, and he goes over to Bob and he says, Bob, what's going on? Everyone is saying these amazing things about you. And Bob says, you know, I've been at this company for 47 years. I'm retiring in 2 weeks, and I never knew that anybody felt this way about me. And that was one of the most impactful moments in David's leadership career. And after that moment, he realized that one of the ways that he wants to serve his teams is by recognizing them. It's a simple thing for leaders to do. You recognize your people. So he embarked on this recognition crusade during his career. And when he was the president of KFC, he would recognize his employees by giving them a rubber chicken. KFC rubber chicken. And he would number the rubber chicken. He would write what the employee did to deserve that rubber chicken. And he would take a picture with the employee and the rubber chicken and send it to them framed. And he would also give them $100 as well, because as he told me on the phone, you can't eat a floppy chicken. And when he became the president of Pizza Hut, he took the big cheese hats, the Green Bay Packer cheese hats, numbered it, wrote what the employee did to deserve it, picture with the employee, send it to them, $100. When he became the CEO of Yum Brands, he did it with wind-up teeth that you can see sitting there. Numbered it, wrote on it, picture, sent it to the employee. And this created an amazing culture of recognition in his company. Now, the best part about this is that David didn't mandate anybody to do this. He didn't tell his leaders, have a recognition award. He didn't say, this is what I'm doing, you have to follow in my footsteps. But because people saw David doing it and because they saw the impact that it had, they started to do it as well. And the president of Taco Bell would do it on a hot sauce packet. Other leaders would give boxing gloves for a knockout performance. And your recognition award became kind of like your calling card, your symbol inside of Yum Brands. And it all started with a guy named Bob. So ask yourself what you can do on a regular basis to service your team, even if it's something as small as giving them a rubber chicken.